Hey everybody! Before I begin, I want to welcome all of you to your first Outbrain onboarding session. I'm Christo, your customer success representative here at Outbrain, which in a nutshell means that my job is to help you become an Outbrain expert so that you can not just meet your traffic goals, but exceed them. So, a quick run through of the agenda before we get started. Today we're going to go over what is Outbrain, how we recommend content, types of content we accept, an overview of your Outbrain dashboard, understanding budget and CPC, our online help center, and finally a Q&A session. Feel free to submit questions with the Q&A tool on your GoToWebinar control panel at any point during this presentation. My colleague Natalie is here to take them, so keep them coming, and we'll answer them as we wrap everything up. So, who are we? If the web were an infinite magazine, Outbrain is how you would browse it. We're a content discovery platform designed to help readers around the web discover interesting, high quality, and trusted content. We appear on hundreds of premium publisher sites around the web, reaching 500 million users globally with our content recommendations, making it easy for discovery to take place anywhere. When you partner with us, your content, whether it's a video, blogs, or content written about your brand, can show up on millions of other pages around the web like you see here on Slate. On any device. When we do our best work, no one knows it's us because we make content discovery a seamless and natural part of the user's experience. And that's what we want to do for you, to get you discovered by the most relevant audience for your content, especially when traditional measures like display ads aren't even seen half the time. And instead, we spend 20% of our time reading content. So, how do we recommend your content? Unlike traditional advertising, it's not about finding sites with the same content, it's about finding your audience. We want to ensure that quality content is showing up in front of the most relevant readers. To do this, our system has approximately 50 algorithms that work together on deciding where exactly to place your content. While we do use the text to categorize each piece of content, contextual relevancy is only one part of our algorithms. Our data has shown us that the best way to deeply engage audiences is to find content that is interesting to them, but not necessarily related to the page that they're surfing. While we do have countless algorithms behind the scenes, and new ones being tested every month, they can largely be grouped into the following four major buckets: contextual, popularity, behavioral, and personal. Contextual represents relevancy to the environment your content is being recommended on. Popularity is recommendation of content that is trending upwards in click-through rate. Behavioral is recommending content based on audience dynamics and trends, similar in a way to Amazon's feature, people who like this also like this. And personal, which is recommending content within the broad range of categories that the reader frequents. However, this is not necessarily related to the page they're currently reading. So, what's our position on great quality content? We feel really strongly about bringing our readers quality content because we believe in the power of storytelling. We're always about connecting readers with the best content across the web, and we pledge to place the user first to help them refine their discovery experience. Which means, really, we help and care about you, our customers, by connecting you to the most relevant users and at the same time helping them to discover your great content. How do we do this? We seek to only present content that does not manipulate or deceive. And we build upon the real estate entrusted to us by our publishers by building on their editorial mandates by presenting content that is editorial in nature and that has value to the end reader. Ultimately, then, we ask ourselves, is this something I would like to read or watch? So, what kind of content do we accept? We accept both owned and earned content. Owned content is content you've produced, like your own blog or editorial articles. Earned media is third-party content such as positive press reviews. We also accept videos, slideshows, and mobile-optimized content to help you reach your audience across a bunch of different devices. Content we don't accept largely falls into the following categories. Home pages or section fronts. We prefer users to go to specific content rather than being driven to a home page. PDFs, which may hold valuable content, but our system can't crawl these, so you'll need to present the content on a web page. Self-promotional content that isn't editorial in nature and is created purely to promote a product or service to a reader. Content with leading ad placement that dominate the editorial content. We don't accept content heavy with affiliate links and created to monetize rather than engage a reader with real informational or educational value. And of course, we don't accept adult material in the tobacco, gambling, or porn arena. And we also can't promote content that has pop-ups or prominent calls to action. So now we've covered the content that you can recommend and can't recommend on Outbrain's publisher site. So let's go over the Outbrain Dashboard to get you acquainted with our system so you can get your traffic up and running. I'm going to bring up my live campaign in just a moment so I can walk you through each section and each of our features. Okay. Once you've logged in, go to Paid Distribution, and you'll see the first section on the left navigation, the dashboard. Here, you'll see a snapshot of your campaign, impressions, i.e. your recommendations, clicks you received, spend based on your cost per click, the top publishers sending you traffic, and the top sections you're appearing on within those sites. If you scroll further down, you'll see the regions and countries where you're getting traffic from and your top performing content. So this gives you a great summary for the time period that you select, which is either a month to date or the last 30 days. You can select the time period and your specific campaign if you're running more than one under Campaign dropdown. Moving into clicks and content, this is where you want to review your campaign each day, especially when you first start your campaign. You can check your daily clicks, spend, impressions, and CTR. The key here is to get a sense of how much of your budget you're fulfilling and how much you're spending in the first few days of your campaign. Remember, your budget is how much you're willing to spend per day, and your CPC is how much you want to pay for each click until you've spent your daily budget. So an easy way to remember this is if you've set a $50 budget and a 50-cent CPC, the maximum traffic you can get is 100 clicks per day by virtue of $50 divided by 50 cents. If you're hitting your budget cap in the first few days, that's great. This means your campaign is performing well and that your CPC selection is working proactively with your content. If you find you're not spending all of your budget in the first few days, however, you want to start optimizing your campaign soon so our system doesn't stop recommending your content over time. To optimize, you should add more titles to your existing content and add new content. The more titles and content you have, the greater opportunity to increase your clicks. Go to Manage Content. And from here, you can go to Add Multiple Content URLs and Titles and add more titles for your URLs. Now, it's a really simple tool. You can either take a single URL and copy paste it into this box, or, as I've done, you can make an Excel. By grouping your URLs on the left side and the titles on the right, you keep yourself from getting mixed up. The easiest way to do this is to highlight your Excel box, as I'm doing, to copy it, and then to paste it. Super easy, right? And we'll do the same with our titles. Oops. Sorry guys, let me just redo those because I pasted it in the wrong box. Awesome. So once you've pasted both your URLs and your titles, you need to only validate. And then once you've validated, if you're happy with the image which is being pulled, great. And if not, you can double click and then either drop a file or upload an image. Now, this tool is really important when it comes to A/B testing because you have to remember that your content in this case is the common denominator. So any sort of increased traffic is really exclusively because of your title or your image. I like to always remind our users that when a reader sees your ad on our widget, the first two things they see are the title and the thumbnail. So it's important to make a really great first impression. Moving along, if you notice after a day or two of adding titles that your spend and CTR are still not increasing when you check your clicks and content page, we recommend you raise your CPC to increase your content's exposure and ensure that it's competitive on the network. To do this, go to Campaign Settings and adjust your CPC under Cost and Budget. This is where you can also change any basic campaign settings like your campaign name, enabling or disabling your campaign, your budget, your flight dates, geo-targeting, and adding tracking codes if you want to use UTM codes in conjunction with analytics. Really, once you have the hang of checking, analyzing, and optimizing your campaign, it becomes like second nature. So you can optimize your multiple campaigns later on both quickly and easily. When you do have multiple campaigns running with us in your account, you'll be able to find them in the My Campaign section of your dashboard. This gives you an at-a-glance view of all your campaigns, allowing you to review their on-air or off-air status. It'll show off-air in two scenarios: if you've disabled your content or if you've fulfilled your budget for the day, which again is great. On the same page, you'll also be able to see your flight dates and both your CPC and your budget. You can edit these values whenever you'd like by clicking on the line item. Voila! You've now got yourself up to speed across all aspects of your Outbrain campaign. And finally, for some housekeeping, before we put the A's to your Q's, account settings is where you can go to review your password, your email, and your credit card information, and to change them or update them when needed. If you ever have any questions about navigating your way around the dashboard, be sure to check out our Help Center at help.outbrain.com. Our Help Center is full of resources to help you get set up on your first campaign, learn about our guidelines, and advanced campaign optimizations. We also maintain a really great library of how-to demo videos, case studies, content marketing guides, and articles to turn you all into Outbrain content marketing pros. And just a reminder, we are always here to help you out. So check out our Help Center and contact us at self-serve@outbrain.com anytime you need to. Okay, so both Natalie and I are sure you have some questions. So feel free to submit them now and we'll start answering them. And of course, thank you.
Great. So the first question we have here is, why don't all articles get an even share of impressions?
All right, that's actually a really great question. After the exploration period, certain articles will receive higher CTRs. Those articles will continue to get pushed out more and more across our network as our system sees that these are more interesting to your audience, which is exactly who we cater to. So this will lead to more impressions and more potential clicks.
Great. Can I geo-target further than the country level?
Another awesome question. We can help you geo-target down to the DMA. Just email us at self-serve@outbrain.com and indicate where you'd like to target, and we can do that for you. When you geo-target, since your reach is narrower, you should also be looking to raise your CPC to boost your impressions until your CTR is increased.
Great. The next question, what's a good CTR?
Well, a good CTR is relative to the vertical that you're in. Typically, on our network, we like to think that a good CTR, a healthy CTR, is between a 0.2% and a 0.25%. However, this changes according to what you're writing about. For example, verticals that deal with celebrities and gossip, those can usually expect to see a much higher CTR, so a 0.2 or 0.25 isn't very sufficient. If you're dealing with a very niche sort of market, however, 0.2 and 0.25% may be overperforming, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. So again, it's all relative to the type of content that you're running and the type of audience that you're trying to appeal to.
Great. And the next question we have is, how can I set up a mobile campaign?
This is really easy, guys. All you have to do while you're making your campaign and you're naming it to put mobile underscore and then the title. And we, from our side, will implement this change on your behalf and we'll let you know.
Great. Next question. I run a kids website. Can I control where my headlines show up?
Well, unlike traditional advertising, the way our system works is we want to find your audience based on where they're consuming content and not where you think they're likely to be. We unfortunately can't whitelist publishers, but we can blacklist up to 5 publishers. Once you see where the majority of your traffic is coming from, you can assess if you want to block any publishers. Please email selfserve@outbrain.com with any requests you may have.
Great. The next question. Can you please elaborate on the UTM codes to track in analytics?
Sure. We recommend using Google's UTM builder to add specific UTM tracking codes to each of your content URLs. Then submit the tracking URLs into your campaign, and you'll see your Outbrain campaign within your Google Analytics. If you don't use specific tracking URLs, you'll see your Outbrain campaign show up generally under paid.outbrain in your referral traffic. However, we recommend specific URLs so you can track the performance of each content URL and know exactly where they stand.
Great. How can I remove inactive campaigns from my campaigns for a cleaner dashboard?
At this time, what we can do for you is archive. However, we don't yet have the ability to delete campaigns, but once we archive them, they'll no longer be in your dashboard and you'll be able to focus on the campaigns which are running.
Great. And then the last question we have here is, what do you recommend when running a seasonal campaign? How quickly should I upload content?
Well, if you're running a seasonal campaign and it's time sensitive, you should upload the content a few days before the holiday. And then if you'd like to expedite the process, send us an email at selfserve.outbrain.com and we'll take care of it for you and we'll update you on it. All right. So it looks like we've run out of questions, and I hope that this has been a really helpful session. And I look forward to seeing all of you at our second session in 2 weeks. Thanks so much and have an awesome afternoon. Bye.